Hi, this is Jim Rapond with Seattle Real Estate Chat. Welcome to our show. I do this with Rhonda Porter. Rhonda, would you introduce yourself?
Sure, Jim. My name is Rhonda Porter, and I'm a licensed loan officer at Mortgage Master Service Corporation, and I'm also author of the blog, The Mortgage Porter. Thanks, Jim.
Yeah, I didn't really introduce myself too. I'm a broker, a real estate broker with Coldwell Banker Danforth. So Rhonda does mortgages, I do real estate transactions, and so we're kind of a good pair for this kind of a show where we chat about the real estate market in Seattle, what's going on with it, what types of programs people are getting loans for, what's going on in various neighborhoods in terms of how hot the market is, or where good deals are happening, and some of the regulations that are coming along that create certain zoning changes. All that kind of stuff is open for discussion here. Anyway, today, it's been a while actually. We usually do this every other week, and we had to skip a couple of weeks for classes and various things going on with our businesses that got us busy, but it's been about a month since we were here. So we're sorry we've been gone so long. We'll try to make it bi-weekly on a much more consistent basis. This week, though, our topic of discussion is an important one, and that is the affordability of homes in Seattle, or where might you find homes that would be affordable to buy. And we're really kind of targeting first-time buyers here, or buyers who have limited incomes or ability to buy. They're not able to buy, we're not talking about luxury homes or waterfront homes, or for that matter, probably even view homes because of the price points and how rapidly appreciation's been happening in the city of Seattle. So, that being said, let's talk a little bit about what the prices are. Right about now, the median price point is around $475,000 for homes in Seattle. It varies a little bit, but by neighborhood, but that's a good general for the whole city. And it goes down if you go outside the city, either north or south. Bellevue is probably just as hot, and also has, in some areas, is even hotter. Um, have you found this to be a problem for buyers, Rhonda, that you've been pre-approving, that they get pre-approved, and then 3 months later, 2 months later, they're just not able to buy the homes that they thought they'd be able to buy?
I am. I have a lot of the home buyers I'm working with that are they're pre-approved or fully pre-approved and ready to buy and ready even to offer more than what the home is listed for. And even just yesterday, I had clients that were offering above the list price, and they were bid out significantly by an all-cash buyer. And it was the home that they were making an offer on was in the 700,000 price range, so not even really for a first-time home buyer. And it was in the Seattle area. So it's tough, and it's happened to this couple over and over and over again. So I mean, it's not the first time. It's not a fluke or
Right.
something, and it's not just that couple. I can tell this. Many of my clients are facing that are trying to find a home. I'd say anything for me, it's been even up to 900,000 clients are getting priced out.
Right. Yeah, I just had a meeting
Drafted.
yesterday with about a dozen brokers, and we were talking about various issues with purchase and sales in the market, and it was pretty universal that agents are finding that almost every home has more than one offer when being presented. So that requires a lot of finesse and forethought if you're going to win. The one thing about a multiple offer situation when you've got several buyers is second place sucks. That means you didn't get the house. So that requires that you do everything you can to make it the most attractive offer, and yet protect yourself from the risks involved when making an offer. So as much as you can or are comfortable doing. So but of course, the best solution is to find a home that's sort of in your price range anyway, so that if you and maybe even lower than your price range to a little bit, because if you get in a multiple offer situation and have to pay a little above that, then you're not stretched to death. So finding an affordable home is really critical. Rhonda, you have lived in this area, and so have I, for many years. If you were to tell people which direction to maybe go to find affordable homes, where would you point people?
See, for me. I live in West Seattle now, and in West Seattle is hot market areas of it are too. And before living in West Seattle, I lived in South King County. And part of the reason why I started in South King County was when I bought my first home. I actually bought in Tacoma, actually northeast Tacoma, is because that's what I could afford. And so South King County just was more of an area that was within my price range. Because I couldn't afford to live in Seattle. And I also managed an office down in South King County too, so that kind of worked out nice when I was in the title and escrow business. I like not quite Seattle, but there's Des Moines and different areas like that. I lived in Des Moines too. I love living in Des Moines. It's a nice water town and stuff like that. But areas of Seattle itself, we were just at Shoreline teaching a homebuyers class.
Right.
And it's not too far out of Seattle, and it's seems to be a very nice area up there.
Yeah, no, Shoreline is one of the nicer areas in general in the whole area. But one of the things about Shoreline that attracts a lot of people is schools. Their school system is a good bit better than the public system in Seattle, I would say, based on test scores. But not as good as the ones in Bellevue. But your pricing of homes in Shoreline versus Bellevue is dramatic. So if you're maybe people who are trying to find a balance between value for the dollar in real estate and good schools, Shoreline is a really good choice because you're not having to get bad schools just because you're going for a lower price point. But if money is not an object and schools are your focus, Bellevue is a hands down winner. There's no doubt about it. Some of the nationally acclaimed schools come right out of Bellevue, and some of those schools are feeder schools to Ivy League schools around the country. So, but Portland is, and let me say this about Portland. Seattle's schools are not bad, and they are case by case. They're getting better. And I would say that the elementary schools you're able to kind of pick and choose in terms of quality a lot easier. Test scores, the involvement by the teachers and the parents and all that kind of stuff. The problem is when you get into the feeders, or I should say the middle schools and high schools, the middle schools will take 4 or 5 of the elementary schools to build the population of that school, and not every school will be the same quality of education or teaching or student level, whatever. So you mix, I wouldn't want to say bad kids with good kids, but kids that maybe had come in with one set of skill sets with others that maybe are lacking in some of that. And so then that's when things start to mix up and you get people hanging out with people who maybe are not where you thought they were, and all that kind of stuff with the kids. So middle schools and high schools, I think, are the tougher part to control in terms of making choices about the right ones to be in. We also have an open enrollment system, so if parents are extremely involved and they are active in trying to get their kids into a different school than what their district is, if they work hard, there's a good chance that they can do that, assuming they're willing to pick up the costs of transportation and things like that. So, but Shoreline always comes to the top of the list for people in terms of affordability with schools.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm a little different than you. I'm a North Seattle kind of guy, so I have not ever purchased anything in Tacoma or Des Moines, although I've sold down there, and I have to agree with you. Des Moines is a fantastic neighborhood because of its proximity to the water there. I just love its geographic kind of bowl-shaped atmosphere, and it has a real core downtown of small shops and stuff. That's a nice little walking neighborhood. On the north end, Edmonds is a lot like that, at maybe a slightly higher scale. It has a bowl kind of area that a lot of the homes have some view of the water, and the downtown is just as quaint as can be. I think it's won several awards for top city in the state before. But any place that you're going to go where there's going to be a view is going to be less affordable in this market. Mm-hmm. So if we're trying to get people into homes that are under the median, and we were talking 475, you're probably just scratch view off. There's going to be compromises, and view is one of the first ones that will add a lot of dollars to the cost. So You have worked up a couple of scenarios, though, for people who may be going, looking at what kind of financing you can do. Again, back to affordability. Conventional versus FHA, is that what you got?
Yes, I do. I do.
Okay, let me put them on screen here, and then you
Okay.
can walk people through them. Let's see here. Can everybody see that?
Yeah, I can see that. So
Okay.
that is the conventional scenario. And at, at a $475,000 price point, which is what I used for a sales price based on the median, current median sales price in the Seattle area, and I did both of these scenarios with minimum down payments for what's available. And so at 475, the minimum down would be 10% for conventional, and that's because we're at a conforming high balance loan amount, so it's over 417,000. So you could buy and these rates I should say are as of yesterday. So rates today are actually slightly improved, but still really good rates. And I also price these with very little points to try to keep the cost down. But for a $475,000 home with conventional financing, you could get into that with about $58,000, including down payment and closing costs. And the total monthly mortgage payment would be about $2,872. And of course, property taxes and homeowners insurance are estimated. With 10% down, you're going to have private mortgage insurance, but with conventional, that's going to drop off probably late in the seventh year. Not factoring in appreciation. So that's assuming the home stays the same value, during that 7-year time period. So if it appreciates, you can get, an appraisal possibly and have that mortgage insurance removed and really drop your mortgage payment on that too.
Okay, let's see if I can get the other one up here.
Okay.
Is that it?
Yep, and so with FHA, what's nice about FHA is that they recently reduced their mortgage insurance premium. They really kind of got out of the market for being competitive at all. But now they're back in the game, and what's nice about FHA is minimum down payment for FHA, unlike conventional when you get over that 417 loan amount, is 3.5%. So with the same $475,000 home, it would be about $26,500 to purchase the home, and so that's including your down payment and closing cost. Total monthly mortgage payment would be about $3,036.70, and that's because you do have a higher loan amount. And I should say, with FHA and conventional, the conforming high balance limit in the Seattle area is 517.5. So that 3.5% down would go up to that $517,005 loan amount when making an offer on a home. So the mortgage insurance for this with FHA is going to remain on the life of the loan, but you can always refinance in the future should rates warrant that. And also with FHA, a little side note too is that they are assumable in the future. So,
yeah, that's a good point. We haven't really talked about the assumable word in years, but it makes a lot of sense when we really are pretty sure at sometime in the near future interest rates are going to have to come up.
right.
Hopefully they won't come up much, but if they reach 6, 7, 8%, having an assumable loan at in the fours is going to be a very attractive feature if you ever need to sell.
Right. Or high threes, like I just showed. Yeah.
Or high threes is even better.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we don't have a lot of time. As usual, we try to keep these very short, but I did want to try to show people some neighborhoods that I think might be of interest because of price points and stuff. And again, I'm not saying these are better neighborhoods. In fact, I would check any neighborhood you're looking at against crime statistics, walkability, schools, all kinds of factors. But in terms of affordability, I can tell you that these are some neighborhoods that I've often seen homes at a lesser price. And for reasons, they're not as nice a homes, they're not as nice a neighborhoods. But again, you have to be practical. If you want a really affordable home, there'll be some trade-offs. So I wanted to kind of go over some of these, and let's start here. And sorry about this map. I was going to try to get this all unglared and everything. We just didn't have time this morning. And I'm not even sure you'll be able to see all the areas I'm talking about. But in the north part of Seattle up here is where I'm kind of focused. And I wanted to mention the neighborhoods of Pinehurst, Olympic Hills, Greenwood, North Park, and Victory Heights. Now, these don't have lots of homes coming on the market at any one time, but if you kind of keep those in your search parameters, especially if you had all of them, there's a good chance you'll see, well, gosh, hope that we start to see more inventory, but a few a day might come up available in these areas. Meadowbrook is another one, but that's actually starting to be very hot because Meadowbrook has the most amazing community center with indoor swimming pool and gazillions of activities for kids. So, and there's some great schools right next to that. So that's starting to become a new hot area, but it's still a lot better than what's just to the south of it. Wedgwood's prices are substantially higher, and as you go south of that, Bryant's prices are substantially higher than that. And we're talking a distance of 5 minutes drive. It's not dramatic. Once you're at Bryant, another 5 minutes you're in Wedgwood, another 3 or 4 minutes you're in Meadowbrook. It's pretty easy to do. On the other side of I-5, there is North Park, and I mentioned Greenwood. But as you start to go north, after you cross the city line, which is 145th, you get into Shoreline. But from Shoreline up, you've got Richmond Heights and North City, and you start to get into Lake Forest Park, and then you're getting into Kenmore and Bothell. And here's where you're going to start to see a significant difference in pricing. You might see say a newer townhome or new construction single-family home in the mid 300s up to 400 that would easily be 500, 550 in Seattle, maybe 600. So there's a big difference there. That can add 30, 40 minutes to your drive. So there's your trade-off. If you've got a downtown Seattle job, you'll spend some time in a car. I don't know what else to tell you if you want to get that price point. But it sure can be a nice home if that's what your goal is. So South End, and Rhonda, you could pitch in here probably a little bit too, but there's a few South neighborhoods that I just love. They don't often have homes for sale, but sometimes. And I got to say, and I just love the bohemianness of this. My favorite is Georgetown. And
Oh yeah.
it's just an artsy neighborhood. There's some really cool architecture, old architecture in there, but it's only got like 300 homes in the whole neighborhood. So things don't come up often. They go quick, but they're not high priced.
Great restaurants.
Great restaurants. Yeah, no, it's a super neighborhood. The only downside, in my opinion, and this is just my personal preference, is you got jets right overhead because you're near the Boeing field there. But I kind of think that's cool. Anyway, so a couple other little hidden gems, in my opinion, is South Park. This is a neighborhood that's a little tougher to get in and out of, and I would check the crime statistics on this one, but it's got some interesting architecture, it's got some interesting homes, and the prices are good. And there's a back door out of this to get into down Seattle a little quicker. What is it? I want to call it the 509. That's the Janet Cash song. Okay. Yeah. Anyway, it's not near as crowded usually as I-5. So if you're coming in from that way, you actually not that long a commute. On the other side, a lot of people say Del Ridge, yuck, blah blah. Prices are pretty darn good in Del Ridge, and if you go just east of that, what's that neighborhood, Rhonda? Puget. I want to say Puget Park, Puget Ridge. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. I don't know if it's Pigeon Ridge or yeah.
Yeah, I think it's Puget Ridge, but it's but Pigeon is. Yeah, some people call it that. I think you're right. You're right. I think I got it wrong actually. I think you're right. I've only sold one home in this area in the last 10 years or so, but it's a neat little neighborhood. Again, very secluded, lots of nice homes, and it seems like a very quiet area. So there's that.
Columbia City too is kind of is a neat area. Yeah.
Yeah. Let me share a little about that. That's one of those areas that you'll probably read is becoming gentrified, and it's been up and coming, and some people think, oh, it's already been overbought. It really hasn't, because the Columbia City part that all that's happening in is mostly right along Rainier Avenue. I mean, it's right there in the center of it. So if you inch, particularly if you inch east off of that drive, there are at least 10 or 15 blocks of homes back in there, and some real jewels come up in there. And again, being that close, you can walk to that area. There's also light rails shooting through there too now, so you'll be able to get on light rail and get downtown quick, cheap, easy. So those are some suggestions that people should look at. Again, anything in a concentric circle from downtown will typically get less and less expensive, and of course there's variations on that, but that's just a good general rule. That you're going to probably be able to find lower priced, more affordable homes the further you get from downtown Seattle. So anyway, you want to add any to that?
Oh no, I think that is a pretty good overview of what's
Uh,
affordable. But I would like to say, I guess I would like to say something is that especially when people are buying their first home, that they should probably I don't know. I just think back to when I bought my first home. I knew I had to kind of like make that sacrifice for commuting to get into the market and stuff. So I think just being flexible and keeping it in mind that it is your starter home and probably not going to be the home that you retire in. So or have forever.
yeah, no, I totally agree. And the couple that I was just thinking about that I missed, Linwood, that's one
Mhm.
to the north that has some pretty affordable homes. And there's also another little hidden one down here, just behind Tuckwell, a little place called Allentown. And I think you want to double check about floodplains through there. But boy, it's a cute little spot. And there's the Tuckwell Community Center there has tons of activities and stuff. You know the place I'm talking about, Rhonda?
No, I've not been there yet. I mean,
Oh,
so I'll have to go check that out.
you'll have to go check it out because you have to cross a bridge to get to it, and then there's this little community, and you go all around it, and you go, okay, I'm going to leave, and you think, well, I'll find a way out. No, no, you got to go back over the bridge. But anyway, yeah, cute. Okay, well, that's about it for today. We've covered a bunch of places and some ideas about affordability. If you've got any questions and we can help you, that's our job. We know that it's tough out there for buyers. We know that it's brutal with these multiple offer situations, but we'll work hard to help you get a home, given whatever circumstance you're in. If you're a buyer who's committed to getting there and you get pre-qualified, Rhonda can do all the pre-approval part. I can do all the working with you to find the right home part and get the offer accepted. And between the two of us, we can get you into a home if that's what your goal is. Um, Ronnie, you want to tell them a little bit about our homebuyer seminar because that's really a great tool for people too.
Yeah, we have one coming up April 8th and 18th, Saturday, April 18th, and I believe that's at Greenwood
You know,
Library. Or is it?
yeah, and some people call it the Finney Ridge Library,
Okay.
but it is on Greenwood Avenue, and it's just a few blocks south of 85th. I'm going to say 79th-ish or something, maybe not that far, 81st. But anyway, it's a newer library, and I think there's parking behind there. We do those from 11 to 4 on a Saturday, and we feed you pizza for free too.
And you're eligible for down payment assistance and mortgage credit certificates if you attend the class. So.
Yeah, yeah, that. Some people really take advantage of that, and even if they don't, they come away with just a whole armful of information about the buying process and feel a lot more ready to jump into the market.
Hmm.
So anyway, I'll put the links to that underneath on this broadcast, and we'll be back in a couple of weeks.
Yes.
Thanks so much. If you've got any questions, you can speak to us hashtag Seattle RE chat or email us, either one of us individually. And Rhonda, you've got a blog. What's the blog again, Rhonda?
Mortgageporter.com, and I have a brand new mobile phone app, mortgageporter.com/app.
Yay!
Technology.
Yeah, and mine is seattle-realestate.com is my website. Thanks so much, everybody, and have a great day.
Thank
Bye.
you.